Okay, so my name is Genesis, and this is my class for computer science. And I'm going to be talking about cybersecurity and why it's important when related to the internet and the systems related to the internet. And the first thing I'm going to go over is how the internet works, which is kind of a series of requests and a series of like asking for information. And so what happens is every computer has an IP address or like a name to it. And so when you want to access information, an image, a website, your IP address gets sent with the IP address of what you're trying to look for. So they get sent together through um, routes and switches. Until it gets to a server that's going to be able to either allow you access or deny you access. If it allows you access, it's going to be sent back to you with your IP address with the information that you're trying to get to. And so your computer puts it all together. It allows you to access that website or image or whatever you're trying to access. And so, but usually when you're trying to use the internet, there's this thing called a trust model, and it's when to use the internet, you have a balance of you need to be able to give some of your information in order to get information. So if you're like people who are newer to the internet are like more hesitant to give information because they don't know if something is trustworthy or not. So there's kind of one of those trust models where so if I want to uh, get information from a website, I do have an account, so I need to give some of my information like my name, like date of birth, an email, and things like that. But I need to be willing to give information in order to get that. It's a trade off where I get something by giving something first. Um, and also, in a trust model, you kind of need to be able to identify what you are giving and what you are getting in return in order to like see how trustworthy something is because you need to be safe online as well. Okay, so back to IP addresses. Every computer has a name and an IP address. The domain name system is a database that has um, the name of each computer and the IP address. So if you need the name of something, you would have to ask for the name of that computer, and then you be connected to a DNS server, which then which is like a computer that has like certain names for some computer. It isn't the whole system, but it has access to the DNS database in order for you to get that name and get that information back to you. Okay, so in order to be safe online, there's series of softwares and hardwares and things you need to do yourself in order for you to stay safe online. So you would usually download a firewall or and antivirus. An antivirus is a software or a hardware that you download onto your computer that um, prevents any malicious software from harming or taking any information from you. Those include viruses that are malicious software. Um, there are Trojan, worms, adware, and spyware, which are all programmed to grab information so others can use it. And a firewall protects itself from people from spying on you, taking your information away. So it prevents like hackers from for you being vulnerable to hackers and other viruses and worms, so they can steal your information. Okay, but as something that you can do is like be careful, be aware of what accounts you're on and how many you have. What are your passwords? What are those passwords? How long are they? Are they the same one for every like 5 websites? You need to have different websites. You need to be able to access them without them. They shouldn't be online. There should be a paper version somewhere you know that should not be left out in order for you to be able to access it better. Um, so with such an increase in popularity in their internet, it isn't all just positive. Like more communication, more access to technology, to information. It's more than that. There's also a negative side. We have a backlash from it because as well as an increase in positive uses for technology, we have another side where people are are turning more to cybercrime and cyber warfare. So cybercrime is just any crime or like that happens online. Um, so like any stolen information, any um, if they use your identity to do something and it's all online, that counts as a cybercrime. Um, okay. And cyber warfare, I mentioned it before. It's a politically motivated attack that steals information or prevents use of an informational system. Usually, it attacks to disable like a website or network that people are trying to use, or like disable a service that people really need to get to, or that's used by a lot of people that causes like a panic or something. Or when they steal or change information that's valuable, or they make a financial system weaker, that is all cyber warfare. So as the internet becomes more popular, these kind of attacks become increasingly more popular, and organizations are like working to go against it because it is a crime. So this is why it's so important to be secure online by using hardware and software and things you can use yourself, because people are trying to like harm you or get your information. So you do not want to be vulnerable online. Okay, so I'm going to talk about distributed denial of services attacks. So technically, um, that is so it's attack where multiple different systems attack one target. So it causes a user. So you go on this website and multiple different systems are like blocking you from getting to the site you're trying to get or the information you're trying to get. So you're unable to access that system. And so while you're trying to access that, they infect the vulnerable system with malware in order to get their information or control their computer or take something from them. So technically, they're stopping you from getting somewhere and taking some information from you because you are on this website. Usually, it's like a website that like a lot of people visit, and like they target a certain person and you're able to take the information because of this denied access. Um, so cryptography is really important because it keeps your information safe and your data, because it kind of it changes the way people see it. So someone is able to take that data, they aren't able to read it. So it's encrypting and like decrypting, and there's two types: systematic, which is symmetric, which is um, private, and public, which is also asymmetric. So public uh, symmetric encryption is when you have two different types of algorithms that decode and decrypt. Encrypt and decrypt your information. And symmetric encryption is when you use the same algorithm to encrypt and decrypt. So like the way it unravels and puts it back together is the same way. It's all to keep your information safe. So if someone does access it, they aren't able to read it or see it the same way, because the purpose of encryption is only for the person that's supposed to read it actually reads it. So if someone else sees it, it doesn't make sense. So certificate authorities usually issue digital certificates that kind of say that this encryption is secure communication, that if someone actually accesses it or gets a hold of your encrypted data, they aren't able to read it as well. So this is kind of one of those trust mode when you use a website. You have to give information and trust that website to encrypt your data or your information. So if someone does manage to get that information, it's secure. So in this situation, it's back to that. I have to give something, I have to trust you with my information in order to get something in return. I think that's pretty pretty much it for cybersecurity. I'm over time, so I'm gonna just like say thank you. And if you're wondering, I am doing this for a class for computer science, and I want to say thank you for anyone who does actually watch this. Besides for grade. Okay, thank you for getting to the end of this video. So bye.